Okay, going to go live in just a few moments here. We're actually going to keep this show very short, or as short as possible. All right, we already got someone in. Let's go. We are live. All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Jeff Stevenson. Welcome to episode number 132 of the WMMA Report. Regular show where we go over everything going on within the world of the women's divisions of mixed martial arts. I'm going to try to keep this show very short tonight. I'm tired. I'm feeling like MMA burnout lately. So I'm just going to keep this show, try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So let's get into the weekend results from last weekend. All right, first up, we had Bellator, a flyweight bout where Vida Ortega defeated Vanessa Porto via second round submission. I'll tell you what, Vida Ortega, she's got the dog in her. She's tough as heck, and she does not quit, and you just cannot make mistakes against her, and you cannot just slow down against her because she's going to keep on coming, and that's exactly what happened. Vanessa Porto gassed pretty hard, really slowed down the second round, and got submitted. So good on Vida Ortega. Then over at Combate Global at atomweight, Katie Saul defeated Gloria Bravo via unanimous decision. A little bit of an upset here. You know, Saul came in with an upside down record into this fight, and Bravo is the number 2 ranked atomweight at Combate Global, in their rankings. And this definitely changed things up. Probably next time their rankings come out, we'll definitely see a shakeup. Then over on Road FC 61, this was on Saturday, had an atomweight bout. John Park defeated Yuna Hong via first round knockout. Hong could not get going, and just Park's punches were just finding their mark. Really all there was to it. It was a very short fight, short and sweet. Park getting the job done. It's really all there is to say about it. Then over at Octagon 34, Cornelia Holm gets back into the win column, defeated Raza Gumiana via unanimous decision. I actually didn't get a chance to watch this fight. I didn't feel like paying for this particular event, so I haven't seen it yet. Then on the UFC side, Victoria Leonardo defeated Mandy Bohm via decision. This was honestly the best that Victoria Leonardo has looked in the UFC. I mean, has not looked good in her first 2 fights, and now she has her first win. And Mandy Bohm is now in the same spot that Victoria Leonardo was just in that she is now 0-2 in the UFC. Other than that, the fight was relatively unremarkable. And then also at flyweight, Molly McCann defeated Hannah Goldie in what was an absolute cherry pick fight. I mean, I said that going into this bout. This was a cherry pick, and that's exactly what it looked like. That's all I'm going to have to say about it. It was a cherry pick fight. The result was practically preordained. That is it for the weekend results. So let's get into the news. I only have 3 little news bullets here. First up, the flyweight bout between Katlyn Chookagian and Manon Fiorot has been pushed back. It was originally scheduled for UFC Paris on September 3rd. It has now moved to UFC 280 on October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. I believe Fiorot has like a knee injury or something that is pushing his fight back a month. So it's actually not because of Chookagian. Then KSW 73 goes down August 23rd in Poland. They've added a strawweight bout. Karolina Ovzars coming in at 4-2, taking on Natalia Bazinska coming in at 6-2. Should make for a fun fight. And then the last bit of news for the week. Icon FC5 goes down August 19th in Biloxi, Mississippi, and it's going to be available on UFC Fight Pass. They have a bantamweight bout. Hannah Guy coming in at 4-1, taking on Montserrat Rendon coming in at 4-0. And a guy moving up to bantamweight. She was just on this season of The Ultimate Fighter at flyweight. Seems like the only two people getting signed are the finalists from that show. So, Hannah Guy, actually I thought she was one of the better performers on the show and getting not getting signed to the UFC. So, good luck to her at Icon. So that is it for the news. So let's talk rankings updates. All right, first up at Bellator flyweight, Vanessa Porto got moved down one spot off of her loss to the higher ranked Rita Ortega. She went from 7 to 8, moving Justine Kish up from 8 to 7. And then here is a more interesting one. Featherweight. They cut 2 featherweights. So now their top 10 is a top 8. And Diana Silva and Janae Harding each moved up one spot. Harding from 8 to 7, and Silva from 9 to 8. Didn't Silva just beat Harding? Why is she ranked lower? Let me check on that. Like, wasn't that just a fight? I sworn we just saw that. Yeah. Diana Silva beat Janae Harding back in April. Why is Silva ranked below Janae Harding? But yeah, this is how sad. Okay, remember when people were like, well, at least Bellator has an actual featherweight division. They can't even fill out a top 10. Listen, featherweight is a failed division. Okay, people keep saying, well, they should, maybe get some bantamweights and tell them not to cut weight and then fight at featherweight. Why? Why keep trying to make something happen that isn't happening? Oh, by the way, half these ladies in this division could actually fight at bantamweight anyway. So to say, well, they should just get some bantamweights and tell them don't bother cutting weight. They've already have. Okay, look at some of these fighters. I believe Blenko started out as a bantamweight. Leslie Smith would still be fighting at bantamweight anywhere else. Sinead Kavanaugh started out at bantamweight. Leah McCourt could probably make bantamweight. And I think Janae Harding had one or two fights at bantamweight before. She's a bit tall on the tall side, though. Probably is better at featherweight. But still, that's... Oh, and Zingano would be fighting at bantamweight. If she could. Probably. Featherweight is never going to happen as a division. It's just not. Even if you took everybody and signed them on one promotion, you're not going to get a good division. Okay? Bellator tried. Bellator put forth an honest effort to make a featherweight division, and this is what you get. Bunch of people with records that are either 500 or barely above 500, and half of them are bantamweights anyway. The featherweight experiment has failed. And that's nothing against the ladies themselves. It's just I see people like keep trying to find ways to make this work. And they're like, well, if you eliminated the bantamweight and just make a women's heavyweight or a women's openweight division, why? Why? What is the point? Bantamweight is an established division. Featherweight has never truly been established anywhere other than here, and this is what you have now. Stop trying to make featherweight work any more than what it is. And I'm not even going to talk about lightweight. That is a vanity division for Kayla Harrison. That's all women's lightweight is. I feel like I've talked about this point so many times now that it's literally giving me headaches. Easy E in the chat says practically anyone can get on tough now, it seems. I've seen better amateurs than what this season had to offer. Brogan is the only one I actually see doing something in the UFC, as she's already proven. Brogan's not that proven either, though. I didn't think it was a bad season. I didn't think, excuse me, I didn't think this season of Tough was terrible. I just don't think it was that good. Here's the thing. Tough, you're not going to get the top talent coming to Tough. Certainly not anymore now that you have the Contender Series. Why go through 6 weeks and multiple fights in 6 weeks, multiple weight cuts in 6 weeks to be on Tough when you can go through the Contender Series, only have to get one freaking win, and you're practically guaranteed? With Contender Series, the Ultimate Fighter is now redundant. It's unfortunate, too, because I think the Ultimate Fighter is a better show overall than the Contender Series. But Contender Series is basically just we need a bunch of fighters on the roster to come in on short notice, so sign a bunch of people. And that's all the Contender Series has become. Whereas Tough is now just people that are too goofy to not try to get on a Contender Series. Anyway, that's it for the rankings updates. Let's move into the weekend preview, and I'm gonna breeze through these, honestly. All right, first up on Fight Pass on Friday, tomorrow night, we have FAC 15. We have, I believe this is at, according to Topology, it's happening at 130 pounds, which makes it a bantamweight bout. Chantel Killer Coates taking on Elizabeth Little Bruzy Schroeder. Coates coming in at 2-2. Schroeder also coming in at 2-2. Now, Coates is coming in off of a loss to D. Begley in Combate Global back last month. Schroeder is coming off of a win little over 3 weeks ago. So, a bit opposites there. Schroeder's the younger fighter, 33 to 35 for Coates. There's going to be a big height difference here if this is to be believed on Topology. 5'9", 175 centimeters for Schroeder to 5'3", 160 centimeters for Coates. No reach listed for Schroeder. Coates is listed at 66 inches, 168 centimeters. This will be interesting. 6-inch height difference, man. That'll be fun to watch. I'm definitely going to have to watch this now. Now that I see that. I don't particularly have a pick. Here's what's really interesting, though. Let me see if they list it. Topology might not even list it. But Combate Global has a fight card tomorrow night that also has a Chantel Coates fight on it. And it's from June. So if you want, you can watch, if you're a Chantel Coates fan, you can watch her twice in one night. Of course, if you ask Combate, they'll say no, all the fights are broadcast live, but they're not. Anyway, moving on. Also tomorrow night on Friday on UFC Fight Pass, we've got LFA 137. We've got 2 ladies bouts. First up, at strawweight, we've got Leandra Brown taking on Jasmine Poncey. Brown coming in 1-1. Pouncey also coming in at 1-1. Now, both ladies are coming in off of a loss in their most recent fight. Pouncey lost to Giovanna Canuto via rear naked choke 3 months ago. Brown lost to Sydney Trio 7 months ago, and that was an awesome fight, too. Sydney Trio versus Leandra Brown. If you've missed that one, you should go back and watch it on Fight Pass. Let me see here. Pouncey's the younger fighter, 25 to 28. Brown is slightly taller, 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters to 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters for Pouncey. Again, I don't have a pick here because I've never seen Pouncey fight, and I've only seen one of Leandra Brown's fights, so I just don't feel comfortable making a pick here. But it should be a fun one. This is one I'm actually genuinely, truly interested in, though. Also at strawweight, Pauline Macias taking on Amber Brown. Uh, get this click here. All right. Peta coming in at 4-2. The Bully Brown coming in at 7-6. Now, both ladies really need a win here because each of them are coming in off of 2 straight losses. Now, Macias last fought 9 months ago, getting submitted via triangle choke in LFA. Before that, her last fight was like a year before that. Now, Amber Brown hasn't fought in 3 years. She last fought in Invicta, losing a decision to Sharon Jacobson. Let's see. Brown is 1 year younger, 33 to 34 from Macias. They are the same height, 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters. Brown has a slightly longer reach, 65 inches, 165 centimeters to 64 inches, 163 centimeters for Macias. I don't know. I don't know. This will be an interesting one. I think I'm going to go with Pauline Macias to win this one, simply because she's been more active recently. I mean, 3 years is a long time to be off of a fight. Now, granted, I said that a week or two ago about Autumn Norton in Invicta, and she came out and knocked her opponent sense silly. And that was almost the same amount of time, around 3 years. So I could be wrong here, but also I just think Amber Brown was at her best at atom weight, not at straw weight. So I'm going to go with Pauline Macias to win. So we go to Saturday night UFC. What is this? 277. First up, we have a bantamweight bout. Geo Kim taking on Jocelyn Edwards. Kim was supposed to face, what's her name? Maria Agapova at flyweight. Agapova pulled out due to injury. Jocelyn Edwards was willing to step in, and the fight moved to bantamweight, which makes a lot of sense because Kim has been eating a lot on her Instagram, so she was not worried about making weight, I guess. Anyway, looking at the stats here, Fire Fist coming in at 9-5-2. La Pantera coming in at 11-4. Now, Edwards is coming in off of a win in her last fight over Ramona Pasquale. That was a little over a month ago. Kim is riding a 3-fight losing streak right here. Last fought 4 months ago, dropping a decision to Priscilla Catchweight. That I thought she should have won that. That should have been hers. Anyway, Edwards is the younger fighter, 26 to 32. She's slightly taller, 5'8", 173 centimeters to 5'7", 170 centimeters for Kim. Kim has the longer reach, 72 inches, 183 centimeters to 70 inches, 178 centimeters for Edwards. That is the closest I think the reach has ever been for Kim. Usually she has a much longer reach than her opponents, which is a shame because she has that reach and never uses it. I'm going with Edwards here. I think moving up a division on short notice is never good for anybody, especially when you're fighting someone who is coming down in weight, who had just fought at featherweight and looked pretty thick there as well. And Kim's activity is usually what kills her. It's not lack of accuracy. It's not lack of strength or power. Although I think she has lost some of her power recently, focusing more on being accurate. I just think Edwards is going to put everyone to sleep in this one, like she did in the Pasquale fight. So I'm going with Edwards, and unfortunately for Kim, that probably means she's gone from the UFC. 2K Raw says Kim needs a win. She definitely does. I hope she actually brings it this time. Like she mentioned in her last couple fights that she knew she needed to bring it more, and then she didn't, which was really frustrating. It's like you know what you need to do, but you won't do it. Easy E says, I think Tough is finished. No way I can see them spending any more money on it. They're going to keep spending money on it because ESPN Plus needs the content. The UFC is now tied permanently to, or at least for the next for multiple years, to a streaming service that wants more and more content. So Tough is unfortunately is not going away. And it's not going to get any better either because they're not going to spend money on it. Then we have the main event, Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes, number 2 for the World Bantamweight Championship. I should be more excited for this fight. And this is how I know. This is how I know that I'm like suffering some serious burnout right now because I should be really excited for this fight. Her last fight was nuts. Anyway, the Venezuelan Vixen coming in at 11-4. The Lioness coming in at 21-5. Pena's on 2 straight wins. Most recently, of course, defeated Nunes via submission 6 months ago. And Nunes is coming off the loss to Pena. Was it 6 or 7 months ago? Nunes is 2 years older than Pena, 34-32. She's the taller fighter, 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters, to 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters for Pena. They have an identical reach, though, 69 inches, 175 centimeters. I'm going to go with Pena to win this one. I mean, she didn't do anything particularly special in the last fight. I just think that she's hungrier now. She's hungry. Nunes does not seem hungry. It's like she was a long reigning champion and who just lost a fire. And I haven't seen a whole lot about Amanda Nunes to show me that she still has that fire or got it back. And she looked like shit in that last fight too. I mean, she gassed out after the first round, which she hasn't done in a long time. And then she was getting absolutely outworked by Pena, who wasn't throwing anything. All Pena was doing was a slip jab. She was jabbing and moving her head away at the same time. And she was absolutely tagging Nunes with that. I think the big thing was that Pena just wasn't scared of Nunes, went in there fully confident in herself. Nunes went in there lackadaisical. And that was it. And I think it's going to be the same thing this time pretty much. I mean, maybe Nunes has the fire back. Maybe that loss was what she needed because she hadn't lost since what? The Kazugano fight in 2014 or whenever that was. So maybe Nunes needed that. I don't know. But I'm picking Pena. You fight someone, you get finished by them, you fight them again immediately. It usually doesn't bode well for those fighters. So I'm taking Pena. Easy E says, I'm picking Pena over Nunes again. First fight, I said there was something off about Amanda, and that's why I picked against her. Second fight, I still see it. It's pretty smart. I went with Nunes last time. I'm going with Pena this time. So Sunday morning, we've got Ryzen 37 with the Atomweight Grand Prix first round. I already did a full preview video on that, so please go watch that after this. And I'm just going to breeze through these. So we've got Reina versus Anastasia Svetkivska. I'm taking Reina to win this one. I got to go with the one that I know at least has the experience. Now, Svetkivska does have a lot of amateur experience, but she's only 2-0 as a pro. And it's one thing to have some deep amateur experience fighting in IMMAF. It's another thing to be fighting in front of a super arena full of fans against a superstar in their hometown. So I'm going to go with Reina. Then we have Kana Asakura taking on Shiyu Park. I'm taking Park to win this one in somewhat of an upset. I just think that Park has really worked on her takedown defense and her anti-wrestling. And I think that should be enough to beat Kana Asakura. Asakura is another one of those fighters. It seems like she already has one foot out of the door. Now, she won the inaugural Super Atomweight Grand Prix to Asakura, but I don't think she has that same fire anymore. Then we have Ayaka Hamasaki taking on Jessica Aguilar. I'm taking Ayaka Hamasaki. I mean, Hamasaki has only lost 2 fighters in the last however many years to Sahi Ham and Seika Izawa. And they're both better fighters than Jessica Aguilar is, I would say. And Aguilar's coming off, what, like 3 years no fight of inactivity? Or 2 years? And in her last fight, she looked like absolute crap. So I'm taking Hamasaki. And then in the main event, we have the current Rizin Super Atomweight champ, Seika Izawa, taking on Laura Fontoura. I'm taking Seika Izawa. I do like this matchup because it is grappler versus grappler. It's judo in Izawa versus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Fontoura. I just think Seika Izawa has better wins, has better experience so far. I mean, they have roughly the same number of fights under their belt, but Izawa came out of the bat fighting better opponents than Fontoura has. And Fontoura almost seems like a one-trick pony. She's very good at the armbar. But so is Izawa. Izawa's very good at that, and she's good at a lot of things on the ground. So I'm going with Seika Izawa. All right, so that's it for this week. I said I was going to keep it short and sweet. I was going to talk about Molly McCann, but I just can't force myself to talk about Molly McCann and her can crushing. I just can't bring myself to do it. And I'm not going to bore you to death by me talking about something that I have no interest in. So I decided to just shorten this week's stream and leave it at that. So sorry to anyone that was expecting that, but I'd rather not torture you by... I mean, look, if I'm not interested in something, I'm not going to bother talking about it because it's going to come across as me being uninterested in it. And who wants to hear someone talk about something they're not interested in? So rather than, make you suffer through that, I'm just going to skip it. Anyway, that's all I really have. Big pay-per-view for UFC with the ladies headlining coming up, and then Rizin should be available to stream internationally. I think they might have fixed that, or at least made it a little bit easier for people outside of Japan to purchase the event. So definitely keep an eye out on that. If it is easily purchasable, I'm going to try to do a fight companion for it, at least for the ladies' spouts. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, that's all I really have for you for this week. So if you haven't yet, please hit that like button. I honestly, I feel like that's the least I can ask. And that's mostly all I try to ask of anyone anyway. So just hit that like button and it'll draw people to the stream. Even after it's done, it'll draw people to the playback. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to WMMA Now, the fastest growing women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Smacky Lady says that elbow, though, about getting Molly McCann, that was a nice elbow. Yeah. I mean, hey, it worked. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.